Good morning, brother and sister. We carry on with chapter 3, Heavenly Parent. Section 2, the relationship between Heavenly Parent and humankind is that of a parent and child. Heavenly Parent, who is a parent. Through parents' words. What is the center of heaven and earth? And what is the root of the universe? When I entered a mystical state and prayed to God about this, He told me that is the relationship between the father and his sons and daughters. That is the parent child relationship. If you think this refers to the relationship between a physical father and mother and their sons and daughters, you do not understand it fully. I am talking about the relationship between God and human beings. God and human beings have a parent child relationship. How do you come to this conclusion? When you enter a mystical state in your prayer and ask if human beings are the center of the created world, what is the center of the universe? You will receive a simple answer. It is the parent child relationship. You may think that the parent child relationship here refers to the relationship between your physical mother and father and yourself. That is a relationship centered on human morals and ethics. But that is not what I'm talking about. The parent-child relationship between God and human beings united in heart is multidimensional. It is that point that is the center of the universe. From the viewpoint of love, we are each the fruit of a mother's love, of a father's love, and of God's love. Vertically, we are the fruit of God's love. Horizontally, we are each the fruit of a mother and a father's love. Because we want to follow this love forever and unite with it, we can never be betrayed. We want to stay and live in that love forever. That is why, even though mothers and fathers are fallen, they still want to live with their with their children forever. Sharing thoughts. Many tourists were enjoying Niagara Falls in the United States. They let out cries of exclamation as they looked at the magnificent waterfall, saying, "Such a majestic waterfall! Who could have created it? If it did have an owner, he or she will have earned so much money from tourists." The one confident looking young man spoke to the tourists, saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, that waterfall belongs to my father, and I am his son." The tourists looked at the triumphant young man with envy. One old man approached the young man and asked, "Who is your father?" Then the young man smiled and replied, "Yes, my father's name is God, who is the creator of heaven and the earth." This young man was none other than Robert Schuller, a world-renowned pastor from the United States. What kind of being is the God described in Christianity? The Family Federation for World Peace and Unification has called God Heavenly Parent since Foundation Day in 2013. People in ancient times regarded God as a fearful being. Whenever unexplained natural disaster happened, they regarded it as a curse from God and feared Him even more. Hence, God was regarded as not only the creator but also as a being and king that rules the world. Judaism, which emerged before the birth of Christ, believed that God was omnipotent and perfect, and its adherents strictly keep his commandments. Hence, the emergence of Jesus, who called God Father, was a shock to the Jew people. Jesus thought that God was not a law-centered, angry king, but a father who loves humanity. Despite such teachings by Jesus, many people could not think of God as their father. Jesus, who came as God's only begotten Son, unlike regular people, could call God his Father. Others, however, could not call God their Father. Even when they were able to do so through the grace of Jesus, they connected the term Father to a Creator, a King, and a Father ruling with patriarchal authority instead of a father, as in a loving parent. To understand the understanding of God as the King, Lord, leader, judge, father, etc., it is limited, as it leads people to connect his essence with domination, and judgment. Many theologians today have questioned whether such an image of God is correct, and they are trying to understand God as a being who stays by your side instead of a God ruling us from above. In other words, they introduce God in a new image, that of a friend, companion, lover, etc. Our understanding of God therefore has changed from that of a vertical authoritative God. True parents teach a fundamental change in regard to our understanding of God. God is not of one single gender. In other words, God is not just a father or just a mother. God is a parent, and hence the Heavenly Parent. True parents revealed that our relationship with God is that of a parent and child. To a young child, his or her parents look perfect, like Spider-Man, like Superman. Sorry about that. Or Spider-Man, as you like. And at the time, they may seem fearful. When the child grows, he or she comes to understand his or her parents' heart. Likewise, our understanding of Heavenly Parent will deepen depending on the degree by which our faith has matured. Hence, our relationship with Heavenly Parent should be understood not as a one-directional relationship, but as a reciprocal relationship of give and take, or give and receive. Furthermore, it is a relationship in which Heavenly Parent can come down into the human world and be with us in character. And it is a relationship in which we can experience His heart. The God who was joyful after creating humans, the God who was sorrowful after the fall, and the God who led the providence to save humankind is not a God whom we can find only in history. Heavenly Parent created people as His children, and being their parent, never give up on those children throughout the 6,000 years after the fall, continuing the providence of salvation. Understanding Heavenly Parent as the true parent of humanity is the starting point of a mature faith. As children of Heavenly Parent, true parents comforted Heavenly Parent's sorrowful heart and followed the path of true filial heart, or Hyojong, to realize the ideal of creation that Heavenly Parent envisioned at the time of creation. Hence, instead of having a young faith that simply desire to receive Heavenly Parent's love, it is necessary to have the heart of true child that strive to realize Heavenly Parent's hope. Point of contemplation. Let us meditate on the meaning of Heavenly Parent being the parent of humanity. 2. You have realized that Heavenly Parent is your parent. What attitude and mindset should you have? 3. As a child of Heavenly Parent, how can I comfort the sorrowful heart of Heavenly Parent who lost his children? What changes should there be in my life for me to advance towards Heavenly Parent? Wow, let us meditate over such a deep message today. Jesus Christ was killed just for the simple fact that 2000 years ago he called God my Father. People could never dream of such a deep and profound and personal relationship with God. But that is what God always wanted us to experience. As we read the day before yesterday, God was eager to have his object partner of love. He wanted to get substantial to each and every one of us. That's why God created male and female, and all the created world is created as masculine and feminine. Yet Adam and Eve, the first human beings, they fall. They could not understand God, much more they cut God from their lives. Since that time there is a broken relationship between us and God. And this broken relationship need to be reconciled. And Jesus Christ tried to reconcile this relationship for humankind 2000 years ago. But we see that even many Christians, they still continue to call God Lord and call themselves servants of God. A servant is the one that do only what the master asks. There is no love relationship there. There may be respect, or there may be a lot of resentments, and it's something like, okay, you are my boss and I have to do what you say to me. There is no feeling there. There is no trust. There is no love. And Jesus talked about the parent-child relationship. Then true parents come and brought such a deep understanding that God is not only father but is mother too, and that he suffer when we suffer, and he is happy when we are happy, and he wants to be with us in every single moment like our companion. We put God there out of our life and we live our own life, center on ourselves. Then we go back to God when we are completely broken and ask for God to intervene over our lives, to fix us, to repair our broken lives, And then it's not a parent-child relationship. It's not sharing all joy and happiness. It just was going there to kind of the bank and say, okay, I need money to pay my bill, borrow me, And many times this relationship is seen like that still. The providence of salvation of human beings started immediately after the fall of Adam and Eve. And I think the biggest sorrow of God's heart was when he lost Jesus Christ. Even now, after 2000 years, many people do not understand why Jesus came. And many people, they think that Jesus came to die on the cross, that was his purpose. But he came to bring us in union with God. As a child of Heavenly Parent, how can I comfort the sorrowful heart of Heavenly Parent who lost his children? Trying to be a tool in God's hand for saving all our brothers and sisters out there, the children of God. What kind of changes should be in my life for me to advance towards Heavenly Parent? Everything needs to be changed. Our love, our life, our lineage, our behavior, our mindset, our way of approaching, our way of relating. We are broken people because we have a broken relationship. And the first relationship that we need to repair is that between us and God. But in order to come to understand the relationship with God, we have to understand and accept our identity as children of God. And then raise us and invest in us to grow up to the standard as a child of God by behaving with dignity and love and maturity. When we come to love ourselves from God's standpoint, then we come to love God like Jesus Christ came 2,000 years ago, 2 commandments. Love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. But if we are not able to love ourselves, we'll never be able to love God, and we'll never be able to love our neighbor or the people around us, because we hate ourselves. Jesus Christ was talking about the kingdom of heaven, start inside of me, start inside of each one of us. If we do not love ourselves, if we do not create peace inside of us, if we do not work in reaching in that standard of alignment in heart, mind, body, spirit with Heavenly Mom and Dad, we'll always be in a struggle mood, and we'll always have bad relationship with everyone around ourselves, including with ourselves. If our mind and body is in fight mode, then nature will fight with all the people around us, including with God. It's really very, very deep, and I myself, I want to read it once again, this part, and have my quiet meditation upon this, and go even deeper upon these points of contemplation, upon this question. Yeah, I encouraging you to have your own contemplation, and if it's needed to listen again, please listen again. And yeah, it's really, really deep, because I think it's really essential. Our relationship with God is the most important relationship, and we know that we have failed. We see the history, we see people in history failing and failing and failing and failing, and it's time to go to a different level. Thank you very much. I don't want to keep talking, and just I want to say thank you for joining Hoondokhae, and I truly wish you have a blessed, beautiful day. 감사합니다. 사랑합니다.